Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Robin Banks, and this is my review of Young Detective Dee, Rise of the Sea Dragon. 2010's Detective Dee and the Mystery of the Phantom Flame was a big, fun movie that I enjoyed immensely. So when they announced that a prequel was being made, I got nervous. Even when I found out that Choi Hawk was directing it, I still had my reservations. If there's one thing I've learned in the last few years of watching movies, it's that I need to drop my expectations as low as I can. There's nothing like looking forward to something that you think you want to see, and then seeing something very different that you have to struggle to still like. It's a lot like that scene in The Crying Game. Jesus, how did we get here? Young Detective Dee, Rise of the Sea Dragon is a prequel that attempts to illustrate the early life of Detective Dee. Andy Lau doesn't appear in this film, although he probably asked to play the younger version of himself. Karina Lau does return for this movie, and I was glad to see her. She does a nice job with the role. I watched this film in a matinee, and it was a 2D version. I did it because I wanted to get this review done as soon as possible, and because, to be honest, the 2D show at the Dynasty was less than half the price of a 3D ticket somewhere else. Go ahead. Call me cheap. You know, it's actually very interesting and very educational to watch a film that's intended to be 3D in 2D. One of the reasons that I don't particularly care for 3D is that no serious dramatic film would ever need or use 3D. So in essence, 3D is just a visual ploy to draw in viewers with what amounts to a cinematic magic trick. It's painfully obvious in Young Detective Dee, Rise of the Sea Dragon, just how much of this film is designed to impress you with 3D. They make no narrative or logical contribution whatsoever. But unfortunately, that's the whole movie in a nutshell. Who knows? Maybe there's a subtext in there. But the film is such a chronic barrage of literal and figurative noise that after a while I just tuned out. I was exhausted. Every 3 minutes there's another big scene of stuff with 3D flying around. It doesn't help that the story goes through so many twists and turns that I felt like I needed an air sickness bag. A Chinese fleet gets destroyed by a mysterious force. Or is it a monster? Detective Dee gets out of jail and needs a job. And he gets one as a cop. But he can read lips. And he knows everything. And he uncovers a plot, I think. Angela Baby writhes around with a bare midriff on her way to house arrest. She gets sent to a temple where she wears too much clothing. There's an evil plot to overthrow the government, and the people speak a language that's very, very similar to Japanese, as is their clothing. But don't worry, this movie is actually a love story. No, really. But on balance, I have to say that I really didn't enjoy this movie very much. I was very disappointed. Most of the people that I spoke to here in Hong Kong seem to feel that this movie is made for China and they're not going to be bothered with going to see it. Sadly, I have to say that I agree with their assessment, and so I can't really say that I would recommend this movie. What I can recommend is that you don't steal it. When the film is released to home video, I'll update the description so you can buy a DVD or a Blu-ray. If you enjoyed this review, please leave me a comment. If you didn't, leave me a comment. If you enjoy my reviews in general, I would greatly appreciate a subscription.